Sairam to all of you. Hope you all are doing good. This is Jyoti Srivastava, and in this video I am going to continue the third part of sexual reproduction in flowering plant. I will start in this chapter from where I left after that. So before going to the contents of this chapter, I just want to revise of the previous video whatever we have completed. So it will be easy for you to understand the next part. In my first previous two videos, we have already completed the introduction part, the flower structure and function, and the pre-fertilization structure and events. In that we have completed stamen, microsporangium and pollen grains, and then the pistil, ovule and embryo sac. After that we have completed pollination, pollen pistil interaction and double fertilization. So today we will discuss in this video about the post fertilization structure and events. Under this post fertilization structure and event, we will discuss about the endosperm, embryo and seed, and after that we will discuss the topic that is apomixis and polyembryony. So first of all, we know about that what are the post fertilization events. After double fertilization, events of endosperm and embryo development, maturation of ovules into seed and ovary into fruit are collectively termed post fertilization events. It means the post fertilization events contain endosperm development, embryogeny and seed formation. One by one we will discuss about each topic. So the first is the endosperm. Endosperm is a product of triple fusion and developed from central cell of embryo sac. It is generally a tipper tissue. The cells of this tissue are filled with reserved food material and are used for the nutrition of the developing embryo. Then we will talk about the types of endosperm. So here we can see there are mainly three types of endosperm. First one is the nuclear endosperm, second one is the cellular endosperm and third one is the halobial endosperm. So what is nuclear endosperm? It is the most common type of endosperm in angiospermic plant. During the development of this endosperm, at the first, pen undergoes successive nuclear division without valve formation. In this manner, large number of free nuclei are produced. Finally, valve formation begins and it makes the endosperm a multicellular tissue. Mainly this type of endosperm are present in cotton, maize, coconut, etc. The second type of endosperm is cellular endosperm. Primary endosperm nucleus divide many times and each division is followed by valve formation. Example, coconut. And the third one is the halobial endosperm. It is an intermediate between nuclear and cellular type of the endosperm. Examples, members of order Halobiales, that is monocot. Before moving to the next topic, that is embryo, I just want to tell you one thing. With this my video, you please go through the notes which I have provided. There in the details we can understand about this endosperm, which whatever I am telling here. So it will be very helpful to you if with this video you will go to that slide. Thank you. Now come to the embryo. The development of an embryo from a zygote is called embryogeny. Embryo develops at the micropillar end of the embryo sac where the zygote is situated. Most zygote divide only after certain amount of endosperm is formed. This is an adaptation to provide assured nutrition to the developing embryo. It means endosperm development precedes embryo development. In the early stages of embryogeny are similar in both monocotyledons and dicotyledons. So one by one we will see the development of embryo in both in dicots or in monocots. So let's start with the development of embryo in dicots. The normal type of dicot embryo development has been studied in the family Crucifera. This is called as crucifer of embryo development. The development of embryo is endoscopic. Now see this diagram. The zygote, that is oospore, divide into two unnuclear cells. The larger cell is the suspensor cell towards micropyle and a smaller embryonic cells, that is terminal cells, towards antipodal region. The suspensor cell undergo transverse division forming 6 to 10 cells long suspensor. The first cells of suspensor towards micropyle is large and called vesicular cells. The last cells of suspensor toward embryo cell is known as hypophysis. It forms radical tip. So in the structure we can see the zygote is first divided into the two cells, and after that the two cell is again divided into the four cell. Then four cell is divided into the 8 cells, then 16 cells, then the heart type of structure, and lastly the torpedo stage came. So we can understand like this: embryo cells divides twice vertically and once transversally to produce a two-tiered 8-celled embryo. The epibasal tier forms two cotyledons and a plumule, while the hypobasal tier produces one hypocotyle and most of the radicle. For this, the octant embryo undergoes periclinal division producing protoderm, procambium and ground meristem. It is initially globular, but with the growth of cotyledon, it becomes heart-shaped and then assume the typical shape. Then we understand the development of embryo in dicots by the help of this diagram. So we can see in this diagram, a typical dicot embryo consists of an embryonal axis and two cotyledons. The portion of embryonal axis above the level of cotyledons is the epicotyle, which terminates with the plumule, that is also called as the stem tip. The cylindrical portion below the level of cotyledons is hypocotyle, that terminates at its lower end in the radicle. We can see the example in orchids, Utricularia. The embryo does not show distincts of plumule, cotyledon and the radicle. This is one of the exceptional, but generally we can see that there are two cotyledons, one embryonal axis. Then the portions of axis above the level of the cotyledon is the epicotyle, which terminates with the plumular or the stem seeds, and the cylindrical part is the hypocotyle, terminates at its lower end in the radicle or the root tip. The root tip is covered with the root cap. So with this, the development of embryo dicot is completed. Now we will move to the development of embryo in monocots. In the development of embryo in monocot, the normal type of monocot embryo development has been studied in Luzula foresteri and is also called Sagittaria type. Suspensor is single celled in monocots. The zygote of oospores divides transversely, producing a vesicular suspensor cell towards micropillar end and embryo cells towards the chalaza end. We can see the structure here. The LS of embryo of grass is shown. The embryo cells divide transversely again into a terminal and a middle cell. The terminal cell divides vertically and transversely into a globular embryo. It forms a massive cotyledon and a plumule. Growth of cotyledon pushes the plumule to one side. Remains of second cotyledon occurs in some grasses. It is called epiblast. We can see in the structure in the middle the epiblast is present. The single cotyledon of monocot is called sequoiatellum. It is shield shaped and lateral in position but appears terminal. The middle cells give rise to hypocotyle and radicle. We can see in the structure of the radicle. Radicle is enclosed in an undifferentiated seed called coleorhiza. In the last, coleorhiza is present in the structure. Epicotyle has a shoot apex and a few leaf primordia enclosed in a hollow foliar structure, the colupetyle. So here we have completed about the embryo. So again I just want to remind you that please go through one topic, and after listening one topic just read the notes, then it will easy to you for understand. Now let's move to the next topic, that is seed, which is very important and interesting. So the seed is often described as fertilized ovule, or we can say seed is the fertilized matured ovule of a flowering plant containing an embryo or rudimentary plant. The seed mainly consists of the seed coat, cotyledon and embryonal axis. The seed coat is the outer integument of a seed which helps to protect the embryo from mechanical injury and predators, and also help into the drying out. Then the second one is the cotyledon. The first leaf or set of the leaves that sprout from a seed is called as the cotyledon. And the third one is the embryonal axis. The embryo or immature plant is divided into region by an embryonic axis region that eventually become the stem. In this diagram, I just want to show you a typical monocot and dicot seed. Here you can see the structure. In the dicot seed, the example taken for the bean seed, and for the monocot the example taken for the corn seed. You can see how where the cotyledon is present and seed coat is the outer layer, where is the epicotyle, endosperm and radicle are present. So go through this diagram. Before moving to the types of a mature seed, just see this structure. In this structure, mainly the seed formation, what is the structure of seed is given. The inside we can see the endosperm is present, which is mainly for the food store for developing the embryo, and the embryo, plumule, radicle and cotyledons are in the middle. In the outer we can see the integument becomes the seed coat, and here is one gap, that is the micropyle, pore entry of oxygen, water during the germination. This diagram will help you to understand the type of the seed. So next we are moving to the type of the seed. A mature seed are of two types. The first one is the non-endospermic or X albuminous or non-albuminous seed. This type of seed mainly present in gram, pea, groundnut, etc. The endosperm is completely consumed by developing embryo. Thus, the seeds are called non-endospermic or ex-albuminous seed. Or we can say, in other words, if all the endosperm is absorbed by the developing embryo, the seed is a non-endospermic seed. Example, we already know groundnut, pea, etc. Then the second one is the endospermic or albuminous seed. If all the endosperm is not absorbed by the developing embryo, the seed is an endospermic seed. Example, maize, wheat, castor, sunflower. Or we can say in monocots and castor bean. Castor bean is example of dicot. In this, embryo does not consume all endosperm, so it persists in the mature seeds. Such seeds are called endospermic or albuminous seed. In these seeds, food is stored in endosperm. Example, wheat, maize, barley, sunflower, coconut, etc. In this structure, we can see the comparison between the non-endospermic and endospermic seed. Broad bean is the dicot and maize is the monocot. Here both the broad bean is giving the example of the non-endospermic and the maize is the endospermic seed. So we can see the structure how it is. In this slide, I just given some examples of the seed so you can compare and better understand the structure and what are the different types are present. In this, the first structure is the common bean structure, and we can see the structure epicotyle, hypocotyle, cotyledon, and where is the seed coat and plumule radicals are present. The second one is the castor bean. We can see the structure. Where is the cotyledon present? Where is the endosperm, shoot apex, hypocotyl and the radicle. And third one is the monocot corn. We can see how the structure of the seed is present. Where is the cotyledon? Cotyledon mainly, it is mainly for the protection. Then cotypetal, plumule, coleoryza. So these structures are very important. Try to remember and understand. After the completion of the seed, we are going to talk about a very interesting thing, fruit, which we all like to eat. A fruit is a mature ovary and its associated part. It usually contains seeds which have developed from the enclosed ovule after fertilization. There is another term that is called as the parthenocarpy, which means a development of a fruit without fertilization. About this we will read in the next topic. The example of parthenocarpy is the banana. So we will see the parts of the fruit. A fruit mainly consists of epicarp, mesocarp, seed and the endocarp. If these parts are present in a fruit, this is called as the true fruit. So mainly we can see there are three types. One is the true fruit, second one is the false fruit and third one is the parthenocarpic fruit. So the fruits which develop from the ovary, that is called as the true fruit. And sometime we will see the floral parts, the thalamus, also contribute to fruit formation. That is called as the false fruit. Why it is called as false fruit? Because it is not developed from the ovary. The thalamus part only we are taking as a fruit. Example is the apple, strawberry and the cashew. And third one is the parthenocarpic, which we already discussed. The fruit develops without fertilization. Bananas are the one of the example. So many other examples are also there where the seeds are not present. In this structure, we can see the difference between the true fruit and the false fruit. Here, mango taken as the example of true fruit, and for the false fruit we have taken the example of apple. So, in the true fruit we know the development of ovary taking place, that is called as the true fruit. So, here the seed coat, endocarp, mesocarp and the epicarp, all parts of a fruit is present. And the second is the apple, which is the example of the false fruit. In this, thalamus is developed and which we are eating, that is the fleshy part. So, it is the false fruit because here there is no development of the ovary as a fruit. In this slide, here just I have given some of the more example of parthenocarpic fruits. So, the pineapple, banana, cucumber, grape, watermelon, orange, grapefruit, pears, these are all example of the parthenocarpy. These develop without fertilizations and mostly are often seedless. So, these are the parthenocarpic fruit. Then after the knowing about the fruit, and now already you know about the what are the true fruit, what are the false fruit. Maybe you are thinking about some other fruits which you are using in day to day life like coconut, dates, and you are thinking that these fruits are coming under which type of fruit? Is these are the true fruits or these are the false fruits? So, here one another term is there, that is the drupe fruit. A drupe is a fruit with a hard stony covering enclosing the seed. So, mainly so many fruits are there where the upper covering is very hard and inside whatever the things are present that we are eating. For example, we can see in the almonds, we can see in the coconut, we can see in the dates, we can see in the pista. These are nothing but a drupe. So, do not be confused about the what are the drupe fruits. It is very important. To given you some shortcuts so you can remember it easily. Whatever written in this slide you already know. So, in this we just remember the integuments. The integuments after the fertilization will develop the seed coat. Micropyle in the seed pore. The ovules will after fertilization it will develop the seed. The ovary will convert into the fruit, and same the wall of ovary is the convert into the pericarp. So, remember these things. If you will remember this chart, it will help you to write the definition like the fruit, seeds, seed pore, pericarp. You can easily write the definition, which will be very helpful for the understanding part of view and for the writing part of view. So, please read this one. So, now successfully completion of the seed, fruits and the types of fruits, will move to the next topic, that is apomixis. Apomixis is a formation of a new individual directly through asexual reproduction without involving the formation of a fusion of gametes. Example we can take in the blackberries. So, why apomixis is important? What are the benefits of the apomixis? So, it helps in hybrid seed production. It is one of the most cost effective methods to produce seeds. Apomixis prevents the loss of specific characters in the hybrid. Hybrid, we know that if the two types of plant will cross to each other and then grow, it will be a hybrid. So, these are the benefits of the apomixis, and apomixis is the formation of new individual without the formation of gametes, means with the help of asexual reproduction. So now we are here in the last topic of this chapter, that is polyembryony. The formation of more than one embryo from a single fertilized ovum or in a single seed is called as the polyembryony. We can say polyembryony is the phenomenon of having more than one embryo in a seed. This is discovered in citrus fruit by Leeuwenhoek. Polyembryony is quite common in onion, groundnut, mango, lemon and orange. You can take a lemon and orange and you can see in that there are so many seeds are present in the citrus. Citrus seed has 2 to 40 embryos, one normal and rest adventitious, mostly nuclear. So these are the example of polyembryony. The polyembryony is mainly of two types. The first one is the mixed polyembryony and the second one is the adventative polyembryony. The first one, the mixed polyembryony, in this more than one pollen tube entering an ovule and fertilizing synergids and antipodal cell. You can remember the structure of synergid and antipodal before we already completed in the previous video. And the second one is the adventive polyembryony. Diploid nucleus or integument cells from embryos, example citrus, opuntia, mangifera. So these are all about the polyembryony. So with this, today here I am completing today's video, today's talk, and with this video, this is the completion of our second chapter, sexual reproduction in flowering plant. Hope you all understand and like this video. I just want to tell you that I will share the notes and some question answer with you. Before that, you please make your notes and share with me and read well, be happy. Thank you.